Hello Canastota, I'm Sean Becerra, Superintendent of Canastota Central Schools, and this is the weekly video update for Friday, October 2nd. Even in a year in which things change quickly and we've become used to making adjustments, this was a particularly eventful week for the Canastota school community. The first item I'd like to address is the fact that we had the first positive COVID-19 case of the new school year. On Tuesday morning, I received a call from the Madison County Health Department informing me that a student in the junior-senior high school had tested positive for the virus. Immediately upon receiving this news, our district's central office team had a conference call with several key members of the Madison County Health Department to determine our response plan. After reviewing the facts of the case, it was determined that Robert Street Elementary and the junior-senior high school should send students home for the remainder of the day, and that both buildings would be on a remote schedule for Wednesday to allow for deep cleaning of the facility. Students were dismissed at approximately 11 a.m. on Tuesday. It was also determined that both Peterborough Elementary and Southside Elementary would continue their regular schedule for the remainder of Tuesday and also for Wednesday. Thanks to the thorough and efficient work of the health department, we were able to quickly determine the scope of the potential impact and exposure to the school community. That's why schools were open and others were not. All four buildings were once again open on Thursday. I'd like to make a few points related to how the situation unfolded, as unfortunately, the facts of the situation were at times obscured by the irresponsible speculation of a few people who are inclined to perpetuate rumor and speculation. I've also said I'm a no-nonsense, straightforward person, and I'll say it like it is. So here goes. Number one, the school did not know there was a positive case until Tuesday morning. Any assertion otherwise is 100% false and irresponsible, period. Number two, all decisions about when school will open or close are made in conjunction with experts in the field of infectious disease. I and the health department have stated repeatedly and on tape that each case is unique and the investigation and contact tracing process will yield a unique result. So therefore, you can assume if we're closing a school that there is a reason for it. And conversely, if we allow schools to remain open, we're confident that this particular case did not impact those buildings, period. As schools all around Central New York have positive cases, you'll notice that each situation is handled differently. There's a reason for that, as each case is evaluated, as it should be, based on duration and frequency of contact between the infected individual and others. There is not a one-size-fits-all answer to each positive case and how it should be handled, if things were only that simple. Number three, and the final point on this subject, the health department was a tremendous resource for us as we work through this decision-making process. They have reiterated the fact that the process worked as it should have because the Canastota School District had a solid and responsible plan in place. Those are the facts. I don't usually acknowledge outrageous social media comments because, quite frankly, they're not worth commenting on, and most of us have better things to do with our time. However, I'll make an exception in this case because it directly speaks to student and staff health and safety. If anyone has a legitimate concern related to how this process or any subsequent process unfolds, please contact myself or any one of our school nurses. We'd be glad to answer your questions. We owe our families answers to legitimate questions and will never shy away from that. However, for those who are inclined to do their talking indirectly through social media or at the water cooler at the office, I would suggest or even maybe direct you to contact us instead of spreading false information. And finally, for those of you who care about facts and truth, please direct these people who are acting irresponsibly to do the right thing and ask their questions in a responsible way rather than make a larger problem for all of us to deal with. And to everyone, please be aware of the social media enthusiasts who throw around broad accusations. We never claim to be perfect here at the school, but I'll guarantee you that we'll never lie to you about how we handle these types of health and safety issues. We're that confident in our actions. So rather than spread conspiracy theories on social media, I suggest you step up to the plate and contact my office. I'll be glad to meet directly with you and address any concerns. Again, I want to thank the vast majority of the community members who have given tremendous support to the school. After all, we need to work together to get the best results for our kids. To those people who enjoy stirring the pot and peddling and false accusations, stop the nonsense. We have important work to do, and you're just getting in the way. So get out of the way if you don't have anything productive to offer. As I've said, I'll never shy away from speaking with or directly meeting with anyone who thinks that we've been anything less than forthright and honest. The invitation has always been there, but for anyone who needed a reminder, there you have it. Now let's move on to some other important news. There were other big announcements this week. On Tuesday, we announced that students currently enrolled in cohort 1 and 2 in our hybrid schedule would be able to return to a 5-day per week schedule in grades K through 3. Again, both Peterborough and Southside students would be returning on Monday, October 26th. During the summer, we made the point that our ultimate goal was to return our students to school when we could do so safely and responsibly. We were intentionally cautious at the beginning of the year while we evaluated available space, staffing, and social distancing standards. After extensive evaluation of all relevant factors, we were comfortable in announcing our phase 2 of the reopening plan, which involved bringing back Peterborough and Southside to a 5-day-a-week schedule on October 26th. Will things look exactly the same as in a normal year? No, definitely not. Things might look a little different, but different is okay if it means our students can be back learning in school 5 days a week. Specific details are being worked out, and updates on the return of both buildings will be forthcoming as we approach October 26th. This is great news for many of our students and their families who are anxious to get fully back to school. This week is a prime example of how unusual this year has been and will continue to be. The positive case we learned about on Tuesday will almost certainly not be the last and that we'll have to deal with this year. However, the steps we've taken gives us a good chance of isolating cases and minimizing the chances of widespread infection and schedule disruption. We're looking forward to having our K-3 students back every day starting on the 26th. Finally, I'd like to welcome our interim principal at Southside Elementary. As I indicated in a letter earlier this week to families, Mr. Tauby has decided to return to the classroom and has accepted a teaching position in another district. I'd like to thank him for his hard work on behalf of the students of Canastota and wish him well as he moves to the next phase of his career. I'm pleased to introduce to you our new interim principal as of yesterday, Mrs. Sharon Kirsch. We're extremely fortunate to have Mrs. Kirsch join our administrative team. She is a highly experienced teacher and administrator with her experiences including a successful 13-year tenure as an elementary school principal in the Camden Central School District. She's hit the ground running, and I'm confident that she will do an outstanding job working with our students, staff, and families. Please join me in welcoming Mrs. Kirsch. To conclude, this was an extremely eventful week at the school. But you know what? Our students, staff, and families together did a great job in weathering the storm. We got through our first disruption to the new school year, but at the same time moved forward on plans to bringing our K-3 students back in a few weeks. We will continue to have peaks and valleys in the coming weeks, but we can handle whatever comes at us. Within the next couple of weeks, we'll continue to update you on any potential modifications to schedules in each of our buildings. So let's stay positive, let's hold everyone accountable to be respectful and truthful, and let's remember that we have to live up to a high standard as we're Canastota, the hometown of champions. So stay safe, stay positive, have a great weekend, and go Raiders.